Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I have a very exciting deck profile for you. Today we're going to be doing a Summon Skull deck profile, and this one's really cool. I want to give a quick shout out to Dark Arm Duelist for all the help on this. I watched his deck profile over and over again to sort of understand how to run the deck, how he sort of fixed the deck, and I really liked his theme, so I stuck with it pretty heavily. So definitely go check out Dark Arm Duelist if you guys are not subscribed to him. Also subscribe to this channel if you guys haven't already, and check out all the other links down in the description below for the Patreon, TCG player, all that kind of stuff. But without any further ado, let's get on into the profile. So the reason why this one is so cool is because we are able to use basically every summoning mechanic besides Pendulum, and then also we are able to utilize not only Summon Skull, but we do have some other really classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards in here as well, for those of you who are big fans of the anime, and we will get to those in a hot second. So then also just the reason why this deck profile was prompted was because I did end up pulling this yesterday in one of the special edition holiday things over at Walmart. If you guys haven't seen that opening, it was a really fun opening that I did yesterday. But we are playing, of course, the 3 copies of Summon Skull for the deck. It's sort of the heart and soul of the deck. And then sort of its boosted version. It has a whole bunch of new, different ways that you can play it. These all came out in, like, Fist of the Gadgets a few years ago. But we are playing 3 copies of the Archfiend's Awakening. This is the Ritual Monster. And with this card, it basically gets protection. It's a lot like the Megaclops Link Monster, where it can only be destroyed by XZs. But this card, you Ritual Summon it. It's treated as, its name becomes Summon Skull while on the field, but it's also treated as an Archfiend card. And then also, it can't be destroyed by battle except with a Ritual Monster, and can't be destroyed by monster card effects except for Ritual Monsters. So it's nice that it has some protection. And then if you're able to get out some of the other guys to give some added protection for like targeting or just giving a boosted attack, then this guy really has trouble getting around. So overall, Archfiend's Awakening is a really nice card, or he can also just be used for other like link spamming or fusion, whatever else you really need him for. But obviously we are going to be playing these next cards. The Red Eyes Black Dragon for sure needs to be in here because of all the other stuff that you can do with like Black Skull Dragon. And then if you're playing Red Eyes and all of these fusion and fusion kind of cards, then you also need Dark Magician as well for the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon play. So we are playing Dragoon in here. We will get into that a little bit later. But we are also playing even some Kaiba cards because this is basically a Blue Eyes support card. So we're playing 3 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic. This card's really nice because when it's normal or special summon, you're able to discard a card and then add a poly from deck to hand. And then also this card is able to revive any of like your fusion material monsters from the graveyard. So if you have Red Eyes, Summon Skull, or Dark Magician chilling in the graveyard, you're actually able to bring them back from the graveyard and set them face down, which is really nice. That way you don't really run out of resources. You can always get back into your Summon Skull, or let's say you use like Red Eyes for like a Black Skull Dragon play, then you can get Red Eyes back so you can go into a Dragoon play, which is really, really powerful. Then we're going to go on into 3 copies of Red Resonator. This is just this is the tuner of choice for the deck, and then just to be able to spam extra monsters. So yeah, this card is just really helpful. Then basically all the other main deck monsters we're playing are level 4, along with your Keeper of Dragon Magic. That way you can go into the level 6 Synchro monster, which is really cool. That'll be coming up later. 2 copies of Manju. I didn't want to totally focus on the Ritual monster, but still getting into that Ritual monster is pretty important. And then obviously Manju being a level 4 is nice. Another level 4 I like playing is 2 copies of Luna the Dark Spirit. As long as you have a dark monster in your graveyard, you can just banish it and special summon this. So this must first be special summoned from your hand this way, so just keep that in mind that you can't just normal summon this or special summon this out with like your Red Resonator, but overall it's just nice for extra body on the field for Ritual, fusion, synchro plays, not fusion, synchro plays, or if you're trying to like go up into the Synchro to get into the XC. Overall, this card's just really helpful. 1 copy of Jiragado. This card doesn't work quite as nicely as the Luna because you can't summon it until like after the battle phase, really. Then 1 copy of Archfiend Eris. If you are able to Foolish Barrel this to the graveyard, this card is really nice because it's going to help you to get a Archfiend card to your hand, which is really nice. Then for the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. This card is going to let you special summon out any 3 of your copies of Summon Skull, Red Eyes Black Dragon, or your Dark Magician, which is really, really cool. This card also just got a reprint in the 2020 Megatins, so it's a little bit more affordable. Or I believe that this did, or maybe this is the card that they left out. I can't remember. I think it did get reprinted, but overall, this card is just really super duper helpful. Then moving on, 3 copies of Super Poly, just because Super Poly really helps us to break boards. I believe that this is just, the way I like playing this deck is better as going second. So you're just trying to like break through your opponent's board rather than trying to establish an unbreakable board, because this deck just doesn't really do that. Then getting on into 2 copies of Polymerization. It's searchable in the deck, and you already have the 3 copies of Super Poly. I just think Super Poly is so strong that it makes sense to maybe play Poly down to 1. For another ritual, or for another fusion card, obviously one of the best fusion cards out there right now, Red Eyes Fusion. Just to be able to go into your Dragoon super duper easily if you draw this, or you can go into it with the Anaconda. 1 copy of Dragon's Mirror, just for a really clutch play. You can use this to go into the Black Skull Dragon or the Archfiend Black Skull Dragon, just as like a nice sacky way to just get out a free Dragon Fusion monster. Really cool. For the Ritual Summoning cards, we have 2 copies of Contract with the Abyss and 1 copy of Advanced Ritual Art. The reason why I knocked Advanced Ritual Art down to 1 copy is I really like getting this off right away if I like summon off Manju, or if I just see this in my opening hand. But throughout the duel, if you're in a big grindy duel, this card ends up not being so good because your Summon Skulls are no longer in the deck. Then you have your 2 copies of Contract with the Abyss, the main way to summon out the Ritual monster. Then we have our 3 copies of Preparation of Rites, just to get back those ritual spells once we finally find them, or just an additional way to search for your ritual monster. Then 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, because we're playing so many darks, and this deck does need a little bit of search power. I believe this is a 45 card list, so it is a little bit bigger of a list, but that's just so that you don't see all the bricks and that you have enough of your searchers. Because this is a Summon Skull theme deck, I wanted to play at least 1 copy of Makiyu, the Magical Mist, because this is basically a Regeki for the deck. You target a Summon Skull or a face-up Thunder monster you control, because in the anime, Summon Skull is, the way he attacks is pretty Thunder-based, but as long as you have your Summon Skull in the field, you're able to destroy all of your opponent's monsters who have defense less than the attack of your Summon Skull, but you're not able to conduct the battle phase. So I was going to play like 3 copies of this, but it just made sense to play 1 copy and then also a copy of Regeki, just to again blow up the fields. But still, Makiyu is really cool. I hope that someday this card becomes searchable if we get more main deck monsters for the Summon Skull deck. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, just again to break boards, and this is really the only way that you have to destroy spell and traps in the deck. 1 copy of Foolish Burial to again send that your Archfiend Eris or just anything else that you need to the graveyard. 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and then 1 copy of Different Dimension Reincarnation, because we do actually banish quite a bit of stuff. But that's going to do it for the 45 main deck. It's pretty chunky, but still, I think that it's really, really solid. Then let's get on into the extra deck. We have our 3 copies of Archfiend's Manifestation. This card is super duper good for the deck. I love playing it at 3. And it just has such cool artwork. But basically with this card, its name becomes Summon Skull while on the field, and then it's also treated as an Archfiend card, just like all of the rest of them. And then all Summon Skulls that you control gain 500 attack. If you're able to get 2 of these out, it does stack, so you're able to maybe get your Summon Skulls up to like 3,500 attack, which is really, really cool. And then also all of the Summon Skull retrains have effects where if they're sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, you can special summon a Summon Skull from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Again, just really helping with that recursion. That way you're never missing or like running out of resources. And like, if you're trying to get into like a Polymerization for another Archfiend's Manifestation, you at least get that Summon Skull back, which is really cool. 1 copy of Archfiend's Call. This card is still pretty nice because with this card, your opponent cannot target any of your Summon Skulls with card effects, which is really cool. And then again, it has that recursion effect. And then 1 copy of Archfiend's Ascent, your XZ for the deck. So I just think it's super cool that you're able to utilize all of these mechanics for the Ritual, Synchro, XZ, and Fusion Summoning. But with the Archfiend's Ascent, while he's on the field, if your Summon Skulls would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you're able to detach material in order to negate that effect. It doesn't come up too often, but it's still really nice to go into. 1 copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, obviously, because we're, I've already mentioned that quite a bit. 1 copy of Black Skull Dragon for your, like, fusion deployment. That way you're able to send also like your Red Eyes or your Summon Skull at any point. And then also, I mean, heck, this card can just be brought out with Dragon Mirror and is a 3200 attack beat stick. One copy of your Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. This card is just super nice, just for dealing a whole bunch of damage to your opponent. And it also can help recycle your Red Eyes Black Dragon, which is really cool. One tech choice, this is probably the most flex spot, but for your Super Poly targets, I am trying out this one copy of Cordius, the Triphasic Dilmin from Blazing Vortex, because with this card it requires a Synchro, XZ, and a Link monster for its material. So if your opponent does end up having like Synchro and an XZ out, then you just really need to go into a Link monster and you can actually Super Poly away their board. Or if they end on all three, a really nice play would be like if you're against Virtual World and you just end with like Anaconda, and then they get rid of like your Dragoon, but you set Super Poly, then your opponent goes and then they're playing Virtual World and they get out like a Synchro and an XZ, then bam, you can just Super Poly away your Anaconda and their two monsters. So it doesn't come up all the time, but it is still just a nice cool little tech option. One copy of Starving Venom, obviously, for another Super Poly. One copy of Utopia Beyond, one copy of Constellar Pleiadium M7, one Anaconda, one Cross Sheet, because we are playing like all of the mechanics that this can utilize, because you have Ritual and Fusion, which are the best two, and then you also have XZ and Synchro options as well. And then lastly, for our 15th card, one copy of Link Mail Archfiend. It is a Archfiend card, so I just thought it was fun to play it in here. And then obviously, again, you can also do all of the summoning mechanics that this card kind of requires. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's deck profile. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This one was a really fun one to do. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. So finally had the push to do it when I pulled this bad boy out of a Metal Raiders pack yesterday. So thank you guys so much for joining. Summon Skull is one of my all-time favorite anime cards, and I thought it was really cool to be able to utilize some other cards from Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and even Blue Eyes in here. So thank you guys. If you guys enjoyed this, definitely subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Go ahead and check out that holiday special edition unboxing that I posted yesterday, and we will see you guys for the next profile. Peace.